Elizabeth.
I'm Morgan.
And we know better. Happy Pride.
My God.
No, it's May 30th here right now.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, is it June?
June 1st. Pride
Tomorrow.
starts on a Monday today.
Or is there 31 days in May?
31 days in May. June 1st is on a Monday, which is lame, but...
No, everyone in my office, I'm going to walk in and they're going to be cheering for me. And they're going to, you know, the poppy things that you twist.
Because you are famously the only gay person there.
Yes. Yes. I'm sure there are more statistically, but yet literally yes.
Yeah.
They were concerned for my well-being because of my gay desk. Like, I am famously the most gay person, the only gay person.
Yes.
I work with a bunch of old men. Like,
They're
statistically, there
nice
are
this
some.
month for sure.
I'm sure there's some that are DL, at least at work, maybe not in their whole life.
Yeah.
But I'm the only one who's open about it.
Yeah. And that's cause for concern. Yeah. Happy Pride, guys. Are you guys... We'll start saying thank you to your favorite sapphic podcast.
Yeah. For what? Being gay?
For being great. And yeah, being gay, I guess.
I don't know
Just
if
like
thank
this
you
is your month of appreciation for us.
Right. Yeah. You should say what you like about us best in the comments.
Yeah.
Each of us, though. We each get our own.
Yeah, and if it could be kind of like if you're a woman, make it gay.
Yes. You mean just, like, flirt with us then?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, you can't really make the comment gay. You can just come on to us. Same thing, I guess. But.
Well, I feel like if you're straight, you have to make it gay.
But so come on to us.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, if you're a straight person who is our friend commenting, once again, like, to be gay, you just have to come on to us. So
Yeah.
it was funny. We got comments on the last one saying, drop the names of the people we think of our friends that are secretly gay. And it's like, there's actually not that many of our friends. So, like, maybe just imagine we think that about all of you.
Well, I think our stance on that was pretty fucking clear, that we do think that everyone is a little gay.
That's
so, true. Yeah, dropping names. But there's just some of you, I'm not going to reiterate the point. Whatever. But
I think it's all. So
yeah,
it's just like what I think is, varies from person to person.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think I have a single friend in my entire friend life who I think is completely straight.
Yeah.
Maybe Bradley. But even then, it's like every person on earth.
Yeah.
I don't know if I believe that.
Right. Yes. So,
or maybe
Happy Pride.
Maybe not everyone is, all my friends, maybe some of them are straight sexuality wise, but that does not mean they're not queer in their gender identity in some way. If you're not one, then you're probably the other in my head.
Right.
Just thinking of other examples, I'm like, but that person is straight. However, are they as cis as they think? No, not at all.
There you go. So if you do think you're 100% straight, start looking to your gender twin. Start looking at your gender and tell me that you're 100% your assigned gender at birth.
Last summer, me and my very close friend Kevin in New York City were literally texting, and he was like, okay, so like what day in June are we both going to soft launch she, they pronouns? And for him, he, they. Like, we planned it with like the potential to go by just they, them by the end of the summer, which did not happen. And Kevin didn't even he, they, and I was kind of mad. I was like, I thought we were like gender non-conforming together, but I guess it's just me by myself. Which on that front, there's no new news. I don't know. I like really was like, oh, I should like figure some stuff out before like Pride Month, because like you want to wear something or like represent something that feels accurate to you. But unfortunately, still nothing feels accurate, so it doesn't really matter. I like the term pansexual in general because it's like, yeah, like I'm fucking everybody. Like it literally does not matter like what's going on with your gender. Like it doesn't matter. Like I love that in theory. The colors are just fucking ugly though. One. And also it just feels like a bit of a lie. A bit like I'm ignoring the elephant in the room, I guess. But also, I don't know if... But then the term lesbian feels like I'm lying. So, yeah, there's no new news. It's kind of how it's always been.
Yeah. Ugh.
And I haven't
Happy Pride to all those confused.
And in theory, I think in a perfect world, I would not label my gender or my sexuality, and I would go by all pronouns, and I would just be like, and I'm gonna fuck whoever I want to fuck. But we don't live in a perfect world, and especially I feel like for women/feminine people, labels are kind of important because we need a space, especially for people who identify as lesbians. You need a space that's only sapphic, that like does not involve any cis men at all. Like that is being a lesbian, and the lesbian label is the only space in community where there is no. You know what I mean? So for me to be like no one should have a label in like this world feels like you're taking away that space.
Sure.
Which is why I mean technically I do. If like someone were to hold my gun to my head and was like, in your heart of hearts, like what is your gender and sexuality, I'd literally be like unlabeled for both. But also that feels lame, so I don't do it. Not lame, but like I don't know, like I don't know, not as fun. I want to represent something.
Okay, that's fair. That's a valid take. I think that is a good point too, because it's like, yeah, labels are important specifically because we don't live in a perfect world, because we, like you said, we have to find places of safety and community where in a perfect world we wouldn't need that, because we would all be safe,
right,
and be able to do whatever we would want and love whoever we want and express our femininity or masculinity or neither in whatever way we want, without having to say this is what I'm trying to do and be a part of a community, because we would all be a community. Right.
We would all be genderless entities, and that would be the goal. That is the goal, really, in general. But yeah, no new news on that. I was really but I was really thinking about gender last summer, but then like health shit like came up, and my body has changed a lot, so I like wasn't thinking about it. And now it's like, okay, maybe like I should spin it around and think about it again, but it's like I don't know if I want to, because also I can't open the gender door without opening the sexuality door, and also both of those you have to think about how you want other people to perceive you, and I also, or like that's part of the conversation, and I also have issues with that, people perceiving me in a way that I don't want them to. So it's like, surely I won't win when I think about it, or try to, go one way or another. And also everyone likes to tell me what my gender or my sexuality is in general, and I hate that too. So it's like I don't even want to mess with it or bring it up in the conversation with friends, because it's like they're just going to tell me like, obviously you're a lesbian, or like obviously you're XYZ, and that makes me pissed off. And maybe there's some like, maybe there's some rooted misogyny why I feel that way, but I don't like being told what to do or what I am, especially because I think that nobody understands me at all in my life, like just in life in general. And it's like, oh, and like you also think this wrong thing about me as well. Or you just think I'm lying to myself. And it's like, okay, like you're not the one who's going through the journey, is it? I'm the one who has to like figure this shit out. And I'm the one who has to date and also like have these labels, not you. So like me, after we just started the episode saying, and we know you're all gay and we have labels for all of you. But that's also why I think I don't like talking about it too much. Or I don't like thinking about it. I do talk about it a lot, I suppose, because I'm always thinking about it. But that's why I'm like not trying as actively as I was a year ago. I tried to bring up the conversation again in my own head like a few weeks ago, and I was like, no, I don't want to do this. So,
and that's also valid. Y'all don't have to figure stuff out right now, or honestly ever, if that's your tea. But happy Pride to literally all that feel some sort of relation to that. Maybe you might be straight and cis publicly, but maybe there is a part of you that is confused or wondering, and happy Pride to you as well. Hopefully one day you can feel some, no matter what you decide, some resolution or comfort or something that feels good to you. But for today's topic, we're not going to talk about Pride, unless our topics relate to something gay. But that'll be the next episode. But today we had a comment ask for us to review chronically online events, or give our top 5 chronically online events for the year.
2026 specifically.
Oh, yeah, I said 2025. Well,
you didn't say anything.
Oh.
You just said of the year, but I'm like specifically saying for this year of 2026 so far. Because I wanted it to be the whole, like a whole year back, because then it would include a lot more stuff, but it's not. It's more specific.
Yeah, 2026. Well, maybe we could do the second half of 2026 later. But yes, 2026 events, chronically online, and then rate how chronically online they were. So we've got those prepared for you today. You'll have to let us know in the comments how many of these you've heard of. We're going to do 6. Do you want to start?
Sure. My number, I have them third, my least favorite, 1, my favorite.
Okay.
Number 3 is Sinjin Drowning, the YouTube channel's Tomodachi Life video. And just before I even explain that, I'm just going to say this is the 10 out of 10 most niche online, chronically online one that I have. The other ones are super not as niche at all. But basically, Sinjin Drowning is a YouTube channel, and they just do gaming videos. They're very funny.
We've talked about them before, surely.
I know, but I'm not assuming everyone who's watching has seen our other videos.
I'm referring to our people that have.
Oh. Well, they posted a video doing Tomodachi Life because that is super popular right now. And they started right off the bat with the video with some Epstein jokes. Yeah, that's just kind of I don't really remember.
I'd say one Epstein joke, and
but they named their island.
Yeah, but that was the joke.
I know, but they were making riff jokes off of that joke that they were going to name it that.
Oh, okay.
And talking about is blah 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 going to come to the island or whatever. There were some riffs off the joke, I suppose, not really other jokes made. Sure. But they was just and it was right at the beginning, and everyone was just kind of what the fuck. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess I saw it before it became a thing online. Well, yeah, and I was just I don't think that's very funny, lol. Mm-hmm. And also to one thing to make a joke, I guess, another thing to fully commit to that bit, and that bit carries through your video because that's what you've named your island now.
Yeah.
Anyway, there was a lot of backlash from that because everyone was that's not tasteful. And they didn't stand by it, so there wasn't a ton of drama, but there was I guess a bit of the community, the not slushy, lol. The Sinjin, they're the ones who are typically in trouble. Mm-hmm. The Sinjin community about whether or not a deal should have been made about it. Whether or not people should have been angry, I guess.
Yeah, definitely a lot of people, and this happens in every community, is you have fans. I'm going to assume that they might just be parasocial young ones, but that just refuse to allow any creator to be targeted for any sort of joke or anything, any type of controversial thing that they may do. So you'll get people I don't understand why it's a big deal. Everyone does this. It doesn't matter what everyone else does or other people have done worse stuff or blah, blah, blah. First of all, no one is actively trying to cancel them. No one. And that's different than other communities I see. No one was trying to cancel them from what I saw. All I saw were just people hey, this is not cool and you shouldn't do this and say this.
Right.
And then people are just oh, it's not a big deal. People joke about that stuff all to you.
Right.
But that's not what it's about.
Yeah.
It's distasteful and people should be called out for making distasteful jokes.
Yeah. Yeah, the controversy was really just the same as always of people being no, that's wrong, and then other people being I don't understand what the big deal is. Mm-hmm. That's with I feel YouTube controversy around a joke that they make or something they do in a video. Mm-hmm. But that was my number 3. Oh, and my take is I thought it was fucked up. And I also, I said, I wasn't really trying to cancel them. I wasn't they're not who I thought they were. I was just not a tasteful joke.
No. Weston is a man at the end of the day. Let's not forget. Sorry. Love you. If you ever see this, I love you. But you are a boy. But, yeah, they didn't stand by it, so that's good, I guess. The way of the internet. Oh yes, my turn. Okay, mine. I didn't necessarily have a way I wanted to present these. I don't know if I have a specific opinion on how I feel. I'll start with Chaperone and the daughter at the security ship. I would say how chronically online this is. I think
not very.
Probably Yeah, like a 3 on a 1 to 10 scale, but like if you're immersed in it, maybe like a 5, like how much you see, like if you're actively in
How
the
much
queer
of the-
community
the-
and how much
yeah.
outside of that, other than it just being news, like how much of the discourse you're seeing was maybe a little bit more up there.
I feel like a lot of random straight celebrities had such a hard take on it too, and I was
Totally.
like, who the fuck cares? Like, not who the fuck cares, I guess, but it was just like, oh, so
No, I will say who the fuck cares? Sorry. If you expect me, if I become any sort of famous, that I'm going to be nice to children.
Well, maybe you should explain.
Yeah. Because maybe some of you are 1 or 2s out there. That'd be crazy. Imagine if we had someone that's a 1 or 2 watching this podcast.
Also, just in general, I mean, we should.
Yes, so a famous male football player, I think, made a story about, an Insta story about how his daughter is a big fan of Chapel Roan, saw her at a hotel breakfast, and she wanted to go up to Chapel, and Chapel's alleged security guard went up and was like, no, was being rude to the daughter, whatever, you couldn't talk to her, see her, whatever. And then that kind of spiraled. Obviously, Chapel's a huge big bad person and evil and hates children and is so rude and nasty.
Hates her fans.
And then I think I guess I don't know how much is alleged and how much is not, but I think it came out that it wasn't her security guard.
She said that.
Yeah.
That it wasn't her security guard. And that she didn't even know that it had happened or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, just kind of spiraled out of control, just a way to hate women, especially a woman that has been in the press for having boundaries with fans that a lot of people don't like, and specific in boundaries with paparazzi that people don't like. So yeah, my opinion on that is I don't care. There's a lot more worse stuff going on in the world than a woman being rude to a child. And again, she's saying that didn't happen. I'm saying even if it did, I truly don't care. Sorry. I don't.
I do think it's part of a bigger smear campaign against Chapel Roan. I think that her being an out successful lesbian as well contributes to the fact that like there's constantly people trying
that dropped her label for controversial reasons.
Right.
Like, yeah, she gonna be a target.
Right. Yeah. I feel like there's consistently things coming up about her that's like trying to make everyone dislike her in a way, especially because she's just so big and so liked. I don't know, liked as a person, maybe not anymore, but like, you know what I mean? Like everyone is obsessed with Chapel Roan. Everyone's obsessed with Chapel Roan's music. That's more so what I meant. Yeah. But I do agree. I don't really care. Even if it was true. I also think like when you try to talk or meet a celebrity, like you're in the same way, like when you ask someone out, like you're opening yourself up to rejection.
Totally.
And like that person is allowed to say no.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't understand what the big deal is anyway. Also, let's say it was, like you said, let's say it was true. Like that guy's literally just doing his job. He doesn't do his job, lets the fan go see Chapel, even though Chapel said, I don't want any fans right now, or I just want my space, or I want privacy, or whatever, which she's allowed to do. Bro is getting fired.
Right.
God forbid someone does the job they're paid to do. Like, damn.
Yeah. I don't know. I think just feel entitled to other people's nicety and time and space, and that's just not the world we live in, and it never has been, and I don't know why we expect
well,
that
and I
of
also think there's some level of entitled that because the man was famous, like a football player.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's necessarily famous. I don't know what the fuck football player was. But like, he probably has a level of entitlement where he doesn't see himself as a common person and an extension his family. So he can't probably fathom like the fact that like as a normal person, when you go up to a celebrity, it's an interaction where you're allowed to get rejected.
Especially as a man, I think if you're a male celebrity, your opinion and boundaries may differ because you don't necessarily have this, especially an athlete, you don't necessarily have the same safety risk that a woman does.
Right. Yeah.
So you might think, oh, I don't understand why she doesn't let random people come up to her. You're a man.
Right. Right, and I also think, like, if you're not the celebrity, like, damn, like, you don't get an opinion. Like, you really don't, on how much she should be interacting with fans or not. Like, damn, you're not the one who has to go outside and have a million paparazzi taking your picture every single day. Like, to each celebrity their own. If you can handle it, you can handle it. If you can't, you can't. You're allowed to draw the boundary wherever, because you're a fucking person.
Yeah, I think that's where people really get it confused, though, because in their head, they're like, well, if it was me, I would be grateful to my fans. Like, you don't know until you're in that situation, and I'm not sure you would react the same way if you had cameras on you 24/7, but I digress, I guess.
Right. My second is the manga Chainsaw Man's ending and the discourse around that. So, if you want to read the manga in the future, I will put on the screen, I guess, when I'm done talking about it, because spoiler alert. Obviously. I mean, if I'm going to talk about it, then I'm going to have to kind of spoil. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
I didn't think you would care, but just asking. Mm-hmm. So basically the big ending was there's a really big fight going down with Denji and Asa. Asa's part two's another main character introduced in part 2. She's not in part 1. And they both have devil contracts in a way, you know. Denji has Pochita as his heart, the Chainsaw Man devil. And I think hers is the War Devil, but I'm not sure. I hadn't stopped. I read it for the first time about a year ago. So I read up to what was released, and that was in the middle of their, like, sort of fighting arc. But anyway, they were just, like, fighting, and Asa basically destroyed the entire United States, and she's turning giant things into weapons, blah, 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 blah. They're fighting. And then all of a sudden, it almost does, like, that it was all a dream sort of ending, but it not really. Pochita appears, and he was like, the only way, Denji, you're going to be happy, which is what I wanted when, you know, I gave you my heart, is, if I don't exist, because if you are the Chainsaw Man, people are going to constantly, you know, there's constantly going to be violence at your door, and bad things are going to happen, which is true, because everything's been happening in part 1 and part 2. Like, yes, his life got better when he became a devil hunter and became the Chainsaw Man, but so many people he loved has died, and he's found family and has died. And Asa's life is ruined by the War Devil at the moment, and if the Chainsaw Man also, the Chainsaw Man devil, when he eats another devil, the devil ceases to exist. And that's not a normal devil thing. So basically, Pochita erases himself from existence, and basically the story doesn't restart, but it restarts in a way, and Denji wakes up, and it's his life as if he had never gotten the Chainsaw. He never became Chainsaw Man, essentially, but, like, with some things altered, because he would have fucking died by the zombie devil in episode 1 if Pochita didn't save him. But they kind of, like, frame it as, like, if he had just become a devil hunter but, like, wasn't the Chainsaw Man. So then you get characters who have died just, like, back for no reason, like Power's back, and everyone was upset about that, because she made this whole deal of, like, if I save you now, will you come back to hell and bring me back like I'm your best friend? Like, this whole, like, everyone thought, like, Denji was gonna have to go to hell and save her, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But basically, like, this world basically restarts, and everyone who is dead is not anymore. But, like, only some people. So, like, what happened to Aki, we don't know. I don't remember the girl who replaces Makima, who becomes the new Control Devil in part 2, but she's a little girl, and she gets killed in part 2. She's just fine for some reason. And basically, it's like, the ending is, like, he is working as a devil hunter, but he's not Chainsaw Man, so no one's trying to fucking kill him all the time, and everything's fine and dandy, the end. And also, he saves Asa, because Asa gets bullied, and that's a big reason why she allows the contract with the War Devil to happen, because the War Devil convinces her life's going to be better. And Asa's about to fall over or some shit, and, like, humiliate herself in front of her classmates, and Denji catches her, and they get this, like, one, because a lot of people ship them, because they are foils of each other. And because he does that, he saves her from the fate of the War Devil in this new, like, fixed world, therefore fixing her storyline, and she gets to be a normal teenager as well. And everyone was mad, because they were like, this is just like it was all a dream, like, ending.
Yeah.
However, my opinion was the switch, like, it was pretty abrupt. Like, they were in the middle of, like, fucking destroying the world and fighting each other, and all of a sudden Pochita's like, actually, it felt kind of like, oh, he's just ready to end it. However, Fujimoto, the mangaka, the guy who writes it, did say in an interview, he was like, because Chainsaw Man is huge, and he did not expect it to get huge, and he's also has a lot of other famous works as well. And he had said, I'm obsessed with manga that just have a very sudden ending, and it leaves everyone sort of mad and confused. And when I end Chainsaw Man, I want to do something like that. Said that in an interview. And I'm like, did bro just not do what he said? I don't know. I think I can see why some people complain that it was abrupt, but at the same time, I do think it also makes sense to the themes of the story, because it's either, like, that is the thing that, like, Denji learns in holding on to Pochita. Everyone around him fucking dies. And also, his happy ending is getting to be a normal teenager because bro is 16 years old. And even then, like, he's not even going to school in this new ending. His, you know, his happy ending would be, you know, he gets to go to school and be a normal kid, but he's not. He's still working for the fucking government. But it's like he realizes his whole arc is, you know, he's obsessed with sex and obsessed with getting a girlfriend and stuff like that, because he doesn't understand how love works, because he fucking grew up as an orphan selling his organs and shit and then killing devils, etc. And his whole arc is realizing, like, love does not have to be sexual, one. And two, like, you know, he has love with his found family. And that's why, you know, power coming back is, like, a big, you know, important thing for this ending and stuff. I think the ending makes sense to the story and to his character. But I do think it was sudden, so I can kind of understand that. But everyone was really pissed about what the ending was. And I'm just like, I guess I don't understand, like, what would have been the ideal. Everybody fucking dies. Like, that's where the world ends. Like, that's literally where it was going. But, like, what kind of moral does that tell if we already know sort of that we want an arc with Denji sort of realize, like, learning things about love and about what he wants from life, I guess, and, like, facing his own essay and his own trauma and stuff like that.
During the reset, so now that he's reset, does he remember all that has occurred, or no?
I don't remember.
Because
I only read the spoilers
Oh.
Of, you know what I mean, like the leaks, because I'm not caught up, so I was gonna reread the whole thing and then read it front to back and then form an opinion, I guess.
Yeah, because if he doesn't remember anything that had occurred, then I would argue were the lessons truly learned. He goes back to being a child, which is great because you said he avoids the trauma, but like that's where I have a problem with it's all. But no,
it doesn't reset with like he becomes a devil hunter and meets power at the beginning of the story of Chainsaw Man. His traumatic past already happened.
Okay.
From like a little child, his dad owes a ton of debt to the mafia and then fucking dies, and so as a little kid, he has to sell organs and pay back the mafia and it's never gonna end because obviously there's interest. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah. That's where I say, like, that's where I have problems with
I think he does sort of remember. I don't remember, though, specifically what they say definitively, but no, he doesn't remember everything, though, because he doesn't remember Asa. He saves her, and they have, like, a first meet that's kind of, like, cute in a way, but then that's all, because also they're bad for each other, and, like, the best thing he can do is not.
Sure.
But it's, like, I think his character... I think the point the author is making, though, is if he never becomes Chainsaw Man, he never... bad things don't happen to him, and he learns the lessons. Because what he was learning the lessons and what he actually wanted from having a normal life and getting to work for the devil hunting government. Because now he gets stable food. He has a stable job. He has, you know, a roommate, and Power and Aki, who's a character from part 1, become his found family. You know what I mean? The more... I would argue I think he does forget everything from Pochita giving his heart on, but like we know that he lives, his story goes similarly without everything going wrong is kind of how we, like, oh, he, you know, got picked up by the devil hunters, then he got his roommates, and now he has a stable job and he's learning, et cetera, et cetera. So I think he's still somewhat like in like a character developing as like a teenager phase when we see him in that last chapter, but it's almost like, I think the author's trying to say, like, he would have gone through a similar arc had none of the Chainsaw Man stuff happened. However, and he would be happier because he would be normal and he wouldn't have to lose everything for the power he has, I guess. No one's hunting him and stuff. So, like, yes and no.
Okay, yeah,
I think you could argue, though, the forgetting everything either way, but I think the author sets it up to assume that he has learned these lessons. Not really lessons, but has developed as a character from having that stable life. And it's when that life gets ripped away from all the stuff happening with Chainsaw Man in like the before story is what makes Denji miserable and what is hurting him as a character and making him do all these bad, terrible things and make bad decisions, I guess. Because he like develops and, you know, his brain is developing and he's learning things and then something gets ripped away and then it's like 2 steps back and I guess that sort of... Yeah. And you see that in the before. But everyone was super mad because it was very sudden and everyone thought that the ending was bad. Well, I guess there was like a fight on either way. And I would say like this is like pretty niche online, chronically online, but like not. I think it just depends on if you're an anime fan or not.
Yeah.
If you're an anime fan, there was no avoiding it. Even if you weren't reading Chainsaw Man, everyone saw the manga panels, like the ending. But if you're not, like, why would that show up on any of your online stuff?
Right. Yeah. Fair. Interesting. Lots of finale
Yeah.
troubles as
True.
of recent.
There's no long-term manga also that anyone, like, I guess that's true for TV shows as well, but with manga that, like, this man has been writing Chainsaw Man for 10 years. And most of the time, they're writing it for, like, 20 or 30 years for, like, an actual shonen, like, action story front to back. And, like, I think fans are thinking too much of these mangakas if they think that these people have the ending planned from the beginning.
Right.
Except Attack on Titan, because it's perfect. And that, it like, genuinely, there's, foreshadowing about what the characters do when they get older, when they're kids. And, like, when you see the ending, you can look back to the original episodes and see specific characters from later seasons influencing the story of the younger characters before they're even older. It's fucking crazy. But also, Attack on Titan was 4 seasons in anime, but, like, an isolated story. I think it also took 10 years to finish. So, but, it very much felt like with action in manga, those arcs sometimes just like go on and they'll add in arc. An arc is like a plot point, I guess, that like continues. So if you don't necessarily know your ending, I feel like sometimes they get lost in the sauce, or like they start an arc and blah blah blah. I just don't think I think fans think a little bit too highly of mangakas in the sense of like, you also, like, you start with nothing and then you get super rich and famous if your manga does well. And then people are asking you to make it longer or make up new stuff. It's like, even if you thought it at the end, it's like, I don't know. When these really popular mangas are made and they're, like, super long running, it's hard, I think, to expect the ending to be so perfect and all the details fall into place.
Yeah.
Especially when the manga or whatever story, even with TV show, isn't, like, known for, like, that, you know what I mean? Like with Stranger Things, I think that was a bigger letdown because Stranger Things is known for the small details mattering.
True. Yeah.
Anyway.
My next one is the 365 Button Girl. I think this one is probably like a 4 on Chronically Online because I did parody it on SNL. So, like, it's well known, but I think to really know, you might have heard of it, and specifically of her phrase, hey, so it only has to make sense to me to do it, and I don't feel like explaining it to anyone else. I feel like a lot of people have heard that, and then that's been adopted to, like, common, like, vernacular, or, like, a meme. But to know where it like, know the story of, like, how it originated, which is not that much of a story, but, like, to know the details, I feel like is like a 6 or 7 on the Chronically Online. Like you gotta be clicking on the blue links on TikTok. So yeah, there's not really much more to it for those that don't know. It's just a girl that was like, I'm gonna put a button in a jar for this whole year, and people were like, hey, why? Like, what does this represent? Like, why? And she's like, I don't want to explain. Like, it only has to make sense to me, and I don't feel like explaining. And that was it. And then she just blew up because she's like, I don't give a fuck. I don't want to explain it, and like literally stop. She would get mad for even us talking about it. She'd like just like leave me alone.
Was she mad about the SNL thing? I didn't see.
I didn't see either. I'm not sure.
I feel like that would piss her off.
She would. She's like, I don't like. Who cares?
Right.
It only has to make sense to me.
Right.
Yeah. So that's great. That if you didn't know where that phrase came from, that's where. And it is yeah, it is a great motto because a lot of people act like you on the internet these days that you owe them an explanation for literally every single move or joke or whatever you make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My last one is speaking of the Stranger Things finale, Conformity Gate, which came out of it. And that is essentially, the finale was so bad and there were so many details they did not give a fuck about in season 5 in general, and so many plot lines that they never spun back around to that they set up, that the general audience was convinced that the finale was fake and that Vecna had like not won, but like taking control of whatever characters or the narrative, and that there was a secret finale coming out. And when that finale was coming out, just changed every time the date passed, and it didn't. And there was suddenly a new theory on why it was coming out.
I bet there's people out there still thinking it.
Yes, and it went all the way up to like the Super Bowl was one, like it's gonna happen during the Super Bowl, which is like what they're gonna air a 2-hour episode in the middle of the Super Bowl. And all that to say, yeah, like the finale was that bad though.
Yeah,
like it really was.
Honestly, I was seeing some cunt would that have been, and how meta if that was true though. Like it's obviously a far fetched, but like imagine.
That's what I said though.
So
like
cunt.
It's just like everyone, all the actors and like the creators were like, "This is so stupid. Why would anyone think that?" But it's like your creators and your writers were telling everyone how important small details were before season 5, especially being like, and like focus on this, and everything happens for a reason, and every small detail has a purpose. So like God forbid,
and that the ending was gonna shock and wow, and people just thought that wasn't the real ending because it didn't shock and wow.
And the Duffer Brothers were like, 4 people are gonna die, 4 main characters are gonna die. Not true.
Yeah.
And there was just, it like genuinely I think stemmed from the rise of Byler in a way, because the rise of Byler, people were bringing first, people were bringing up all these plot points of like this. I'm so excited for part 2 after Sorcerer, because we're gonna bring up the painting and why was he weird with the hug in the beginning of season 4, and you know, bringing up all these plot points about Byler that were never closed. And then that opens the gate of like, well, what other things were never talked about again? Like, how is this possible? How does this plot point make sense? And then you look in, like, you're looking at old frames and like doorknobs are completely different for some reason on a door that's been there for fucking the entire show, and all of a sudden in season 5 just the knob is different. And it's like I'd be seeing this and I'm like, I never believed in conformity gate, but I was like looking at all the details and I was like, and what the hell were they doing on that damn set? Just fucking shit up for fun? Literally. Like, I don't understand. It sucks though, because people online were writing a way better ending. Like Mike getting Vecna, I was like, eat, like, yes, gag that. Like, that is, yes, exactly. And just a ton of different stuff that was just like way better than what the Duffers actually did. Anyway.
I think show writers should take notes. Don't tell your audience to pay attention to details unless you are gonna be on that motherfucking sheet.
I don't understand why Stranger Things marketed themselves as that, because I don't think that's ever been true, in my opinion.
Besides maybe in season 4. Oh, I was gonna say the season 4 reveal.
Yeah, but that felt very obviously set up to me. But maybe that's because I watched it way later.
Yeah, maybe. But like there was like small little things before, like catching
that season in hints about what the season 4 plot twist was going to be in other seasons.
No.
But I feel like that's what they were selling. That they knew that's also what the Duffer Brothers said. They're like, we knew the ending the whole time. It's like, baby, you did not get renewed for season 4 and 5 until after season 3 came out.
Yeah.
And even then, season 3 was fucking stupid. Everyone thinks that's the best one. I think it's fucking stupid. What do you mean the communists are evil? Who cares?
Yeah.
Also, like, what? I don't know. Because it also feels like season 3 has such a definitive ending of her closing the gate, and losing her powers because she's giving that up, and then they're moving away so she can start her own new life outside of the trauma associated with Hawkins, and Will too. And then they were like, season 4, they're like, and what if fuck them? Like, what if fuck them and their trauma? Because like, let's just spin it back around. I did not like season 4 in terms of
what
Jane's storyline. So fucking stupid. So fucking stupid. The Vecna part was the only part that kind of saves it, because like, finding out that past though could have been done in a different way, I think. But that past, I think, is an interesting storyline.
Yeah.
And the whole idea of one and her saving one, and you know, and then being the one as well to create the upside down, and her trying to protect herself from him, and the anger that comes from that, because it does explain her trauma super well, because the whole thing is an allegory for sexual assault, and now you have the perpetrator, and you also have a person who did it to Will as well, because now we have like a single entity, not just like the upside down in general is the allegory to sexual assault. You know what I mean? It's like, no, there's a person preying on little kids who are vulnerable.
Yep.
I think it was like, not that part wasn't bad, I guess, but I just think like to pride your show on like details that build up over time.
Yeah.
Like you said, like you have to actually be doing it, because then people are going to look for it.
Yeah. Totally agree.
And some shows do that, like Attack on Titan did that hard, being like, you know, there's like a big, like they prided themselves on twists that you don't see coming, but then once you see it and then rewatch it, it's so obvious, and there's actually a lot of hints. But also, I mean, the showrunner wasn't coming out being like, every detail is important. It just gains its reputation because that's just what it did. I feel like almost bragging about it, like, invites that sort of, like, people are going to call you on your shit that you fuck up.
Yeah.
Because surely, I don't think any story can really pull off, that is multiple seasons with complex storylines, can pull off tying every single loose end well and foreshadowing it throughout the show. I feel like that's kind of an impossible ask.
Yeah, of course.
You know, it's like a Sherlock Holmes type, like, that would be like the type of level of figuring shit out you have to do every time on, like, how you're going to plant things, how it's going to pan out, how the ending is supposed to look. I'm sure Attack on Titan has things that were, like, not explained well or, like, you know, loose ends, but it didn't, like, advertise itself as a show. It just grew its reputation from doing it well.
Yeah.
So people weren't looking for the holes.
Yeah. Totally.
And I would say that, like, level of being chronically online, fairly-ish low, I would say. I think at first a little bit high because you had to be on Stranger Things, like Twitter, for example, but like on Stranger Things social medias, you know what I mean? Like seeing the discourse about the finale. But then it got so big and so many comedians were making fun of it because it was also on SNL and stuff like that. And then it became kind of hard to ignore.
Yeah, agreed. I genuinely would like to ask showrunners, what is so hard about making a finale? Because, like, just feels like nobody can get it right these days. Actually, I don't want to ask showrunners because I think they're just going to say audience has too high of expectations. But I don't believe that's true.
I just think you have to plan out where you want your characters to end in general in the beginning.
Yeah.
Even if you don't know how many seasons you're going to get, more like as a character, their development.
Yeah.
Where do you want that character? And then your plot can follow, even if you don't know the plot specifically.
Well, and I think then also having an established end. Don't let your shows go on forever. If it is season 3 and you don't know if you're going to be renewed for a season 4, have it in season 3. Yeah. And then that's it. I know that's not how corporate greed works, but anyways.
But even in general, if that's the framework we have to work with for TV shows now, where there's always the possibility that you're going to be forced to extend your show, I think like what I had said kind of works a bit like is like that should be thought about more, I guess. How do you then pull off a finale and make satisfying character arcs? You have to think about the characters in general and like what you want for them, but like not specific. You know what I mean? Like for maybe with Elle, it's like, oh, like here she is. We don't know how many seasons, but in the end, we want her to be like, you know, feel welcome in society and have a family. Period. And then you just have to write the plot around that to get that ending. You know what I mean? And then you can do whatever the fuck in between. Like I feel like it doesn't have to be super major, but I don't think enough shows decide that and then stick to it as well. They let the plot almost drive then the character arcs. The further seasons they get.
You know what she would have done well with? Soldier Boy Plower Blast.
Yeah.
It saved her fucking life.
True.
Well,
she already lost her damn powers and then they forced her to get them back. Right, stupidest plot ever. Especially when the powers represent your trauma.
Yeah.
Dumbest ass plot ever.
Yeah. But in season 5 it's revealed they don't really care about her powers. They care about her blood.
True.
So it wouldn't have fixed the issue, but a Power Blast would have.
Right. Yeah.
Anyways, my final one, which I think is pretty chronically online, I'd say maybe a 7, because you have to be having the TikTok algorithm feed it to you, is Ruby Cole confirmed in Bistro Huddy. Okay? So, Bistro Huddy is this content creator on TikTok that makes they are restaurant parodies, and this is one dude, and he plays all of the characters, so it's like a skit. He plays all the characters, a bunch of different wigs. He does a phenomenal job. 6 million followers. Each and like literally every single video gets at least 1 million views. Every single TikTok he posts out, and he posts out like at least like twice a week. Every single one, which I've never, like, even for the people with the most followers.
The consistency.
Like, the consistency of at least 1 million views is crazy. He has a Patreon as well, so I know he gets money from that, which is great for him. But anyways, within this storyline, there is this femme, which is crazy for me to say because it's a man. Mind you, this is all paid by one man. In his, like, 30s, I want to say. There's a femme waitress. who is just known for being very sassy, like your typical mean femme, but she's not lesbian. She's bisexual, as we have come to find out. But you know, everyone wants her. She's the classic like waitress that everybody wants to be in, like the hot waitress, whatever. And then we have the sous chef, who is a masked lesbian woman. And so it's been a long time of will they, won't they? Like, we see them flirting, but then she also has this other guy that's her ex that is also a waiter, but she's like flirting with the sous chef, and it's like, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? Anyways, as of this year, they are officially in a relationship.
Oh.
Which is very cute. It's very wholesome.
How do they film like kiss scenes?
Well, they don't kiss, girl. They'll be like in the car together, and it's like green screen. Right. I'll show you some clips or whatever. But you know what people make? Fantastic art. Oh my god, the art. I had to show you one of them. Yeah. Y'all who know, like, get into it. It is just wholesome internet content, because none of it's real, but this straight man and his wife are the ones who write the stories. They didn't have to make a lesbian storyline, but they did. And I'm not gonna say it's like fantastically like super well done, because it's a TikTok, right? But honestly, I think it is like pretty good to see, and it's wholesome, and you feel good about it, and you're like, they're cute. They have like little riffs. Like, they just recently did a storyline where the woman's parents came to the restaurant, and she's like, am I gonna meet your family? And it's like, she's like, no, that's not a good idea. But then there was a miscommunication, and then she ends up meeting the family, and then there's like some struggles there of she's like, I'm not out to my family, but then there's just whatever. They do tuffle the top. Like, I just think it's admirable and it's fun to watch a lesbian storyline, and just like casually in your media, because it's not just about them. It's
right.
The show, but it's about a bunch of other, characters as well. But they put that in there, and it's well done, and it's wholesome, and it's fun to watch. It's entertaining.
Right.
So y'all you've probably, I feel like how many views they get, impossible to not have seen clips at one point or another. But if you're really tuned into the storyline, because it'll just pop up on, like, I'm following, but it doesn't always pop up on my For You. But once it does, then I'm like, oh, time to go to the channel, and then I'll just scroll through all the new videos. But anyways, Ruby Cole confirmed. Beautiful WLW storyline portrayed by two men, or actually one man doing both parts in some wigs.
Right.
Yeah.
That's, I feel like, reheat of Brandon Rogers nachos, in the sense of like Brandon Rogers, I think, popularized the like having a million characters. I mean, I guess maybe he didn't, because maybe a ton of comedians have done that.
Sure.
But like the short form video content
totally.
of like, I'm playing every single person.
Yeah. I would agree. Yeah. I think that's our chronically online moments of 2026. Obviously, there are a lot more, because everything happens online nowadays. If you have any, let us know which ones you guys have seen or heard of, and then also let us know if there's anything we should have added.
Isn't that both the same thing? There's from ours.
From ours, yeah. Our favorite.
I thought you were saying, what are your favorite of 2026? Yeah. And I'm like, well, surely there's more than just 6.
Yeah.
So we probably missed a lot.
Right. Yeah, no. Let us know what, because I'm curious how many, because I always get surprised on like things that nobody else has ever heard of. Like, there were some other moments that I was explaining to Elizabeth that feel like everybody is,
well, I've never heard of the last
community.
One you did. I've never heard of that or seen any of those videos.
I knew you wouldn't. But the other ones that were very prevalent in the queer community anyways, I was surprised you haven't seen either. And that's just, So it always surprises me what people have and haven't heard of.
Right.
Or like I'll never forget Ashlyn's telling her friends, like, talking about heated rivalry, and neither of them had heard of it. That nuts.
Is crazy.
That's nuts.
We could have. Oh, what did heated rivalry come out last year?
November,
Yeah. I was there before it even dropped. I was there when there were trailers and there was a drop date. Just saying.
Yeah. Okay, but let's get into unsolicited advice.
Yeah, maybe I should go first, because mine is a bit longer.
Sure.
How do you ask help for help as a hyper independent person, when do you recognize that you're in need and can't help yourself? How do you ask for help? You just have to get over, I think, the internal hump and just do it. Like, I don't know if there is like a how to go about it. I think the issue for a hyper independent person, as someone who is one, recognizing it. I think the second part of that question is probably the bigger part. But like the first one is just like kind of like throwing shame to the wind, I guess, and like just saying like, okay, like no, like texting friend or close friend and being like, XYZ thing happened or I need help, blah, blah, blah. Or even just being small with it. If it's like a mental health thing, like you don't have to say like XYZ happens and this is why I hate myself and XYZ trauma.
Yeah,
like
you don't
you
have
could
to
just say like,
explain
oh,
it
I'm not
all.
like feeling great. Like, can we hang? Or like, can I come over and watch a movie or whatever? It can be smaller things that you think will help the bigger issue if it's more mental health related. I think that's always easier than like explaining yourself or even like letting on, I guess, how like bad your mental health issue is. If you have in your head like, oh, like if I could just see this friend for an hour, like I would feel so much better type of thing. Like you don't always have to disclose everything. How to know if you need help. I feel like as a hyper independent person, it's really like when in your head you are like, it's fine, I'm managing XYZ thing and I'm going to do this to manage this. Like when you are in your head sort of like making this list of all the things you have to do or to manage whatever situation, or like a long list of like things that have to go on. You know what I mean? Where it's like almost like that like panicky, like if I just do XYZ thing, like this will work out and it'll be fine. It's like, okay, but maybe you're not managing it in a healthy and or way. I guess it's like maybe you are taking on too much, I guess, or trying to do too much or trying to fix a situation all by yourself, I guess. I don't know if I explained that super well, but what do you think?
God fucking let me know when you find out. Because, yeah, I deeply struggle with that. And I don't think I have a good answer because I just don't know for myself even. I think what you say is true. I think definitely about like a hard part is really determining when you know. But then when you know, then it is you have to just throw away pride and shame that are not warranted.
Right.
You don't like none. You shouldn't have to feel shameful. But it's obviously as a hyper independent person you are. That's just how it is, and you just have to throw it away. But it's really fucking hard. It makes me want to throw up, so I don't like to do it.
It's really, I think, just like letting yourself almost like not basking in the shame, but it's like, so, like when I feel like I have to ask for help, I'm just like, fuck it. Like, it doesn't have to feel good. It doesn't have to feel like an accomplishment when I ask for help. You know what I mean? And also, because I'm also a very hyper independent person, I don't ever tell anybody the truth of what is actually going on. Like, truly, I don't. Mm-hmm. I just, not at that point, I guess. I also don't like to talk about mental health struggles, really, because I feel like a lot of the times it isn't heard as seriously as it feels, I guess, or how I want it to be. So it's almost like a extra precaution measure just to be like, I know this will help, so I'm just going to ask for this. But also it makes it easier. You know what I mean? Like, just, like, asking for something small or just, like, to hang out without, like, revealing the bigger. It's much easier to do because it's just, like, you know, they're not, like, oh, like, she's gonna kill herself tomorrow. Like, she just wants to, you know, that type of thing.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe a good, when you feel like you know you need it, is when you start resenting the people around you for picking up all of their slack or for handling something for them or something like that. It's like when you're just like, oh, like, of course they didn't fucking think of this. Like, I have to do everything, like that type of thing. It's like, well, maybe you need to communicate to them that they need to do that thing. Or maybe you could ask them if they have to they can do that thing because maybe they're not even thinking about it.
Yeah. I think, and also just, if you feel really overwhelmed or like you said, like panicky with what you're doing, or like you genuinely, even as a hyper independent person, can't understand how you would be able to do it yourself, then that's when you know you need to ask for help. If you can't think of a way of how you're going to be able to do it of yourself, then yeah, you probably can't, and you probably should ask for help. Yeah. It's very, very hard. I feel for you, whoever asked that. 'Cause, yeah, yeah, it's hard. Do you have anything else you want to say with that?
Nope.
Okay. So our advice, which is more just a question that I picked, was our favorite YouTubers. And Izzy and Emma. Because guess what? We posted a TikTok a couple days ago.
2 days ago?
Yeah,
Today.
something like that. Yesterday. Yeah, whatever. Remaking my favorite turtle with hat clip. And Izzy commented last night, woke up to it this morning, gleeful as hell.
Big news.
Big news, like joy in my heart that she's
Step 1.
yeah. And we're coming for you. Not in the way of like I want to be your friend.
Not in a dangerous or threatening way.
No, not in a way like dangerous, threatening, want to take your
Oh my
spot. No,
God.
like I want to be there with you.
Right.
You better stay safe from me when I come to New York. Because I'll be searching the streets.
Right. I had something else I wanted to say.
About Turtle with Hat or?
Oh, fave YouTubers were answering the question.
Yeah,
I was like, wait, I had an answer too. But I forgot that there was a question. I thought we were just now talking about Izzy and Emma. So I was like, I don't remember what I have to say related to them.
Yeah.
Mine is Dan and Phil.
Right.
I don't really watch any other YouTube anymore besides them. I'm still clocked in on every single podcast, every single Monday, and every single time they post a video. Except one where they flirted with other guys because they were just so cringe and awkward and bad at it. I was like, no, I'm not watching that.
That's valid.
But
also,
oh yeah,
also Sinjin and Drowning to me, despite the recent controversy, which I'm glad they didn't stand by, but they're just easy for me. If sometimes I feel too overwhelmed to watch TV or movies or really anything of substance because I don't know, my brain just needs something mind numbing that I don't have to think too much about. And I know that I can put them on and they feel like my sisters. Maybe that's what it feels like. It feels like me with my sisters and it's unserious and I don't have to feel emotions and I can just decompress. That's a way for me to decompress, I think. Mm-hmm. Versus like anything else, I usually have to be more locked in. With them, I can put on an episode and just like kind of tune out and do literally anything else while having something comforting. Those are my two.
I don't have any others at the moment, so.
Yeah, fair.
Before we do, I was gonna say I have big news. I am over my crush on Finn Wolfhard. It's the news. Mostly because I'm pretty convinced he's gay now.
Yay!
But like in parentheses, good. Like in parentheses, happy for him. So, also in parentheses, he doesn't actually have to come out or ever explain it to anyone. Yeah, just saying. Just like I'm picking up on the vibe, and so like in my head I'm like, he's just like gay. I also think like of fucking course from watching Stranger Things, the like kinship and actor I was fucking drawn to was like the closeted gay actor. So but he is on tour, or he was opening, I guess, in Chicago for a week for this other band that he really likes. And he was singing, he has an album coming out in July with only one song out, but he was singing those songs. And like the lyrics, it's like, bro is struggling, and bro is not out, and bro may be in love with a man. And it just was like also very relatable. Like some of the lyrics I was reading, I was like, it was one of those things where it's like, oh my God, I thought I was like obsessed and like had this huge crush on Finn Wolfhard and I wanted him really bad. And then you like pull back the curtain, it's like, fuck, we both don't know what our gender or sexuality is. We're in the same damn sinking ship. And that's why I feel this kinship, this draw to him, because we are he is singing about stuff that I'm thinking about now all the time. I was like, fuck you, man. Like, can't have a crush on no man these days without finding out you don't actually have a crush on them. It's just that they're fucking secretly gay and you are also confused about your sexuality. Like, damn.
Yeah.
But good, I think, for the brand.
Yeah.
And then less embarrassing for me. Parasocially. Not that Finn Wolfhard is embarrassing. It's embarrassing me having a real life crush on a celebrity.
So you heard that, folks.
Never thought this day would come.
Time to get over your devastating celebrity crush, 5 months. That's how long it was. So, 5 months.
Yeah.
In case, like, because I think that is important to know. Like, it takes about 5 months. And maybe you need to have them have a song come out that makes you, like, oh, wait, they're gay. Okay. And or, like,
it wasn't even like he's gay and so now I can't have him. It wasn't like, oh, I can't have him, that's why I'm not into it anymore. Yeah. It literally opened my mind's eye in the sense of, like, it was also, I don't think it was never about Finn. I mean, I do like Finn Wolfhard. I think all the things I said about him are true. Like, I think he is funny, and I think he is extremely talented, and I love his work, especially his music, because it is really well done and fucking relatable, painfully so. And I will continue, I think, to follow the things he does and like listen and watch. But it was like the sort of, I was ignoring the elephant in the room of like, it's easy to have a crush on a celebrity, one, because it never is going to come to fruition in real life, even if you want it to. So you never have to confront the things that come with a relationship and intimacy that comes with the relationship. But then there was double fucking pronged because he's a man. And so it's like, yeah, I have a crush on a man. So clearly I am not just a lesbian. Like, I have this real life crush on this real life man. But he is in fact a celebrity. So there is also that level of removal where you don't have to think about it too deeply. So it's like kind of like that double. So like it was almost like a draw the curtain back where it's like, damn, like that is exactly what I was doing, what he is now singing about, like projecting onto him. Because his songs are really about what society, but also popular media and the general audience wants from him, and what he feels like he can't give and what he feels like he cannot have because of, you know, fame and stuff like that. And also just because of his own, like, I'm ignoring the elephant in the room vibe. It was just like a pullback of like, it was never really about Finn Wolfhard in general. It was about me ignoring my own shit, and also, damn, Finn Wolfhard really be in the same boat as me. We come from the same place, actually.
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah,
That
5
feels
months.
Great to hear.
You can actually ignore your gender and sexuality and your issues around dating for 5 months.
While you have a
at least. Surely it could have went on longer. He just had to release some gay
True.
music. Darn.
I hope that gives hope to some.
But now I
others.
feel like about him the way I feel about Noah Schnapp as well, as like, I feel like maybe like where you're like, oh, I just want to take Noah Schnapp to the club, and like, but like I feel that way too. But I feel more motherly towards Noah Schnapp, like he is young, where I feel like me and Finn, I'm like, we are like so like cyclically locked into the same experience. Like, I just want to give you like a hug and be like, it's actually gonna be okay, and can you also tell me that as well?
Right.
I'm like, girl, we actually might be soul sisters, is what I think. So do I still want to meet him? Yes.
Right.
Well, like, not really, but like, I would want to have an actual close personal relationship with him in real life still, yes. Like, it's very much like friendship crush is still there. But like, obviously, if we walked into a room later today and he was there, no, I would not be like trying to fucking talk to him. Like, I'd be scared.
Yeah.
All those things still stand.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, I felt like an important update.
No, that
from
is.
the
It very
past
much
few
is.
weeks.
During Pride Month too. Wow. That is great
I know.
news.
He really said, let me clear your plate for you to be fully gay.
Yes.
You know, for this month.
Yay.
Oh, and also him releasing the music, like, and starting to sing it right before Pride Month. Oh my god, I hope he's okay. My close personal friend, Finn Wolfhard. And hey, maybe he is bi and he's totally allowed to have that. It's just like that, the way he was singing about it was giving that vibe, I guess. And also, he never has to tell us. Right. I'm not trying to speculate. I'm just saying I felt relatable to his experience and also changed my opinion of having a fucking weird crush on him. But,
yeah.
Shall we do our must recommends?
Mine is Aldi, the grocery store. Y'all get into Aldi. I'm serious. I mean, if you're one of those people that like genuinely care about name brand shit, then it's not gonna be for you, and that's fine. And maybe there's definitely some things that you want to get name brand, and that's also like kind of the problem with Aldi is like if you do care about name brand stuff, and then also like non-grocery items, Aldi's not your one-stop shop, but it has a lot of Trader Joe's dupes, which is great because Trader Joe's is expensive, good but expensive. It has like all your favorite snacks there, but in dupe form and so much cheaper. Like, seriously, I can get a whole basket of groceries for under $100, and that'll last me like a month, depending on how fast I eat my shit, because I do go through my snacks pretty quick. But like, it is just like, and as far as I know, not a company with bad morals. I'm not sure they've done anything super great. They pay their employees well, I know, so that's good, especially for a company that prioritizes saving money. But they pay their employees well, and I hear they're a decent employer, and then otherwise I haven't heard of anything controversial. Well, first of all, it's German-owned company, I think. So, hopefully, as far as I've seen, not involved in U.S. politics, and the negative way that a lot of companies here are. I just think y'all need to lock in. If you haven't shopped at Aldi before, like, try it out. I'm serious. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. I love Aldi. Aldi, sponsor me.
We should go once because I feel like you've mentioned so many things you like and also dupes that you've heard of, but like, and it, like I remember some, but it's like when I go, it's like, oh, I don't know what I'm looking for. Like I forget, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I definitely want like the turkey stick, meat stick type dupe.
Oh, the chomps.
The chomp dupe. And then the true fruit, which you now mentioned.
Yeah.
But like that's the only thing that's like stuck.
Yeah.
And then when I get there and because I am a big like, I want to get all my stuff in one place, but also because I don't go to Aldi super often, I don't know what I want there.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? And so then I also, the first time I went, I didn't bring a bag and I was like, fuck.
True.
Like I didn't think about anything because you have to bring your own bag.
Yeah. Pro tip. When I bought like, you know, your basket that you used to use for mail or the thing, I bring that shit in there and then I just put it in my car and then take it home and that's it.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Yeah, we should do that, and it's the Aldi next to me is pretty close, but then we could do the Supermercado next to my place too sometime. Yeah.
My must recommend is the Lego Batman game that just came out. I'm actually like barely into it. I barely started Batmaning. Like I actually just did my first Batman mission because you start as Bruce Wayne as a kid and then you have to be trained by the League of Shadows. You know, the Batman lore. That, but like more so leaning on the Lego Batman movie is really like the true, because that's why I wanted to play the Lego Batman game. Yeah. I mean, I like Batman, and one of my best friends, Erin, like really likes Batman, and so I know a lot of the lore and like Batfam lore of like the different Robins. Like I know a lot, but I wouldn't say I have an extreme personal investment. But the Lego Batman movie with starring Will Arnett, one of the best movies ever made, like arguably, and also I think one of the funniest, which is like, yeah, I think funny than most actually purposefully funny comedies made by both men and some women. Like genuinely, like I think it's funnier than most of the comedy movies I've seen, and I show it to everyone and everybody fucking loves it. So 10 out of 10. But I am really enjoying the Lego Batman game as well. Very excited about it. Just bought it. Spent $100, so I better be playing it for a fucking minute.
Wow,
but I did want all the fancy outfits, so maybe I didn't have to spend an extra $15 for that, but I did. But yeah, if you're playing, let me know. It's really fun. There's like you can dance in Penguin's Club, which is cool. Like you can make the Lego dance. There's really a lot of fun and details, I think. And it's really well made already. Like it's interesting how well they can make the Legos look and how dynamic the movement is and how great the graphics are. It's truly well done. But if you haven't watched the Lego Batman movie, like you have to do that. That's essential watching.
Yeah, required. Yeah, I've seen a few clips already, but one like someone going through when Batman is a child, and like how they make everything just so happy and light, and he keeps having lines that are like, I love my life, I hope nothing changes.
Yeah.
Like evil.
I know, I didn't realize that's how the game opens, so I started and it opens on Wayne Manor and I'm like little tiny Bruce and I was like, oh darn it, my parents are about to die. Fuck.
So sad.
Also, I've seen clips when you drive the Batmobile around Gotham City, you can, like, you don't have to stay on the road. It's very GTA, like, type. But you can't run anyone over because you're Batman. You don't kill people. So the people, the fix for that is the Gotham citizens, like, literally there's a famous clip, guy in a wheelchair, the guy's driving right at him in the Batmobile, guy does a backflip in his wheelchair out of the way. Cute. So you physically cannot hit anyone because they will dive and do fucking crazy acrobatics to just get out of your way.
That's
average
so cute.
Citizen, average skill set needed to be a citizen in Gotham.
Yeah,
is the joke,
literally.
But yeah,
that's so cute. Yeah, that sounds fun. $100 though, oof. But if you get 100 hours out of it, I don't know how long is the story.
It sold at like 80, and then I ended up paying like 96. But that's because I wanted the PlayStation offered like a special pack with a ton of different bat suits, and I was like, yeah, totally. I want that.
Right.
But no, $80 is still a steep price. Yeah. But I think also average PS5 game price, but is that normal?
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see how many hours I get out of it.
Yeah. That'll be important. Yeah. I think that's all.
Yeah.
Happy Pride, guys. Look forward to our next episode that will be
Pride themed.
And then shortly after that episode comes out, we will be at the Pride Parade.
Yes.
Wait, actually,
we're making preparations. We've already spent $400 on preparations. Mind you.
Yes, so y'all better be excited for us. Yeah, it's after. The parade is after
Next
the
video.
next Pride the Pride episode.
Yeah, so we'll see you next time, I guess, with more details, I suppose, about how prep is going for the Pride Parade and how Pride is going in general, I suppose.
Yeah.
Anything exciting happens to us, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm doing much crazy shit in June.
No.
We're going to the fucking strap party
That's true.
Pride weekend, but that's,
Yeah.
end of the month.
Yeah. Yeah,
We're packing all the
y'all
gay
won't
shit
hear
to
that
the end.
until July, yeah.
Yeah. But as always, follow our socials. We're We Know Better Pod everywhere. On TikTok, it's with 2 Ds. I'm Edgy Liz on TikTok and Elizabeth Rose Brown on Instagram, and she is More Cooper 2020 on both. And also in our pinned posts on all of our social media is information about our mutual aid fund for Minneapolis area. All right. See you guys later in Pride Month.